Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dismissed to Doctor. I am your host, Dr. Bria J. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. We are so happy to have you here. I have a very, very special guest today who is a mentor who has helped me through my schooling. So I'm just so grateful that she is here. So welcome to the podcast, Linda Too Tall Spears.
That would be me. Hello, Bria.
Hi.
Or Dr. Bria.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, and thanks
I'm
for
just so grateful
having me.
that you're here.
Oh, me too, you. And I'm very nervous. I've never done a podcast. You'll be able to know. But I just want to say thank you. I feel honored. It's been a blessing to be a part of your life. So thank you.
Yes. No, thank you. I would love for you to give like an introduction so that everyone can kind of get to know you a little bit better.
Okay, thank you. Well, my name is, as you said, Linda Too Tall Spears, but you can call me TT Tall, 6 feet, but I've shrunk. You do that when you get old. I'm a physical therapist, but I'm not a doctor like you, but I could have been. You want to hear a little history?
Yeah.
So, how much time we have? So, I was born on the south side of Chicago, Chicagoan. And my study or history on physical therapy actually started when I thought I would be a biology major. I love science. However, I love the idea of what you're doing, dismissed to doctor, because I was dismissed several times, thought I wouldn't be a physical therapist. And it started in high school. So I'm half black, representing, but I'm also half white. So in high school, I said, I'm representing my mom, who's black, and my dad, who's white. And unfortunately, one of my, and I'll say white brothers, Caucasian counterparts, he stood up and says, what does that make you, a zebra? And I'm thinking, I'm going to be all about, representing mixed races, right?
Yeah.
That started me on a track of low confidence. Fast forward, moving into high school, I actually get a scholarship because they recognize, and I finally recognized that I'm pretty smart. I was taking advanced placement high school classes in math, science, English, history. I was bad. I was good. I was a nerd. I loved it. But I still wanted to do something in science. Sorority, the American Academy of Physical, AKA, gave me a scholarship. They blessed me with a scholarship. And that scholarship entitled me to be able to go to my first choice school, DePaul University.
Oh, wow.
Because I couldn't afford it otherwise. I was still thinking I was going to be a biology teacher. But while I was there, I got to meet the man of my dreams. Hello, Dwayne Spears. If you ever get to see this podcast, married 37 years, I regress. But anywho, I met the man of my dreams thanks to AKA writing the scholarship. I still, to this very day, still don't know who supported me enough to bless me with this scholarship. But somebody in high school, somebody then moving forward said, we'll give you a scholarship.
Yeah.
I actually live on the south side of Chicago in Hyde Park. My view is awesome. It's beautiful. It's the picture of the Obama Presidential Center, the Museum of Science and Industry. But it's also the headquarters of AKA.
Yeah,
I
it is
went
right
over
there.
there and I actually gave the monies back, trying to ask them, can you tell me who gave me or who blessed me with the scholarship? They can't tell you. Never found out, but that's okay. I gave them the money, even though I did try to blackmail or black woman them.
Yeah.
Then from there, I clung to the few African Americans that were at the Fullerton or Lincoln Park campus at DePaul University on the south side of Chicago, or the north side at this point. Only a few of us. And my husband, who was also a biology and math major, he was there too. And that's how we met. We clung, became friends, moving forward, married, no kids, but I'm a favorite auntie of many. But at the same time, the consulate there told me, oh, you're not going to be a biology teacher. In the 1970s, hint, hint, how old I am, in the 1970s, the career was inundated with teachers.
Yeah.
I thought as an African-American, European sister, I'd be able to get a teaching job. That was my dream, my desire. He told me otherwise. I need to look somewhere else. I could only afford going to DePaul that 1 year, so I left DePaul and I went to the University of Illinois Chicago campus.
Yeah.
And I basically wandered around trying to figure me out. I couldn't figure me out. What am I going to do? I want to teach, but I did nighttime jobs because my mom couldn't really afford anything at the time. So nighttime jobs, I wandered into a physical therapy OT department.
Okay.
So they were finishing up, even though it was like towards the evening time. They were working with a gentleman that at that time I didn't know, but he had a stroke. And he was in the parallel bars, these bars you hold on to get up and walk. The OT and the PT were working with him together. They were using their hands to help him to heal, to help him walk. I said, that's what I'm going to be, a physical therapist. Somebody said, how do you know it was an occupational therapist you really wanted to be? I said, oh, good point. Meanwhile, though, I love physical therapy, to use my hands. And I actually recently retired after working 43 years.
Yes, congrats.
I've been told I've been awesome physical therapist from the University of Chicago, right down the street from where I live, right there in Hyde Park. I worked there actually for 25 years, and I worked in a variety of settings. But it was so interesting that I actually wasn't sure until I went to my mom, and I was accepted into the physical therapy program. But in the late 1970s, early 1980s, there were only bachelor programs.
Yeah.
To get into the school, I had to have a source of money. So my mom actually had to take out a second mortgage on the home. And being a middle child of 3 children, she had to pick and choose who was going to get that money. Because I was blessed with knowledge, not to say that my brother and my sister weren't, but she had to pick one. And I was the one that she picked to support. So I was blessed to be able to get into the physical therapy program. But I looked around. Out of the 29, I was the darkest one there. And remember, I ain't all that dark. Then looked around a little bit more, and I saw a Hispanic young lady named Martha. At that time, she was Martha Garcia. She is still my best friend all these years later. And then we saw Debbie Birch, an African-American sister. The 3 of us clung together because we were looking around. There were not many physical therapists, occupational therapists, hardly anybody in the health field. And we went to that school, University of Illinois Medical Center. We were like the few people of color at the school, period. We clung together. It was just a natural, you nod, you just blended in, and we just stuck together. We commuted to school, went back, and supported each other that way. I was able to continue on and graduate in 1982, probably before many of y'all were born. But Debbie and Martha, they had to sit back a year because of family matters. And they took care of their family matters, and they were able to graduate a year later. Meanwhile, I felt all alone. It was kind of hard because it's like you're feeling like you're alone in the field. But there was one teacher named Yolanda Rainey, African American. She came aboard and was there, and I looked at her like she was heaven. I was like, there are other people in this profession besides me dreaming this up. She mentored me, and she said, Linda, we're forming an organization. And I became one of the co-founders of an organization called SUMP, the Support Organization for Minority Physical Therapists. It's a Chicagoland-based organization, and it was where we figured out we needed to get together. We needed to bond. We needed to mentor. We need to support each other, whether it was physically, emotionally, spiritually, but also financially. We developed an organization, and we existed for years. But then we decided to form another organization off that because we found out there are other organizations nationwide that needed that same support. We were not alone. I was not alone anymore. But I still felt that something was wrong. Why are there only a few of us in the profession? Back in my days, in my time, unlike now, DEI was a real for real thing, and I think it still is. But there's powers that are being that are manipulating that and trying to go back to the old ways of their ways. But that's okay, because we've been there, gone that way before.
Yeah.
This too shall pass. And thanks to people like you and people like you and all the people out in the world that know how to do right and be right, this will pass. And being able to get the word out and what you're doing that I admire. And the people in the background that support and do this that I admire. And that's through how we survive, word of mouth, getting the word out. And so I actually went to my counselor of European Caucasian in the physical therapy program, because I went from A, B student in high school and DePaul University, all of a sudden I'm in C. I'm getting C grades. What's wrong with this picture? What's wrong with me? I started to have doubts, identity crisis. Am I good enough to be here? Is it affirmative action? Everybody was saying that was negative. No. I found out from her, she said, Linda, you are in the top 10% of this class. What are you talking about? Everybody's kind of making C's out here. That's just the nature of the classes and how it's working, and you just stay in there. So through the mentor of Yolanda Rainey, the professor, through the support organization for minority physical therapists, and people who just hung on to me when I graduated, I lifted my head up. And I said, thank God for affirmative action, because if it wasn't for affirmative action, they probably would have never taken a look at me. And for those who discredit affirmative action and said, and dismissed it and said it's not appropriate because they think you're a number, I said, I'm the top 10%. I belong here.
Yeah.
I'm not a zebra. I'm the best of both worlds, black and white.
Yeah.
And so I'm representing on both sides of the spectrum. So I'm here for a reason. I'm here to stay. Even though I'm retired, I still speak my share. And I hope I've inspired people like you.
You have. Thank you so much for sharing that. I feel like going to school back then just had to be a whole different type of experience, especially during the time that you were there. So how did you feel like the connection between the two other students that you said were in the program? How important do you think it is to have that type of connection while in school? Because I feel like to this day, like it's still an issue, right? I don't know what the percentage was back then, but today it's less than 4% of physical therapists are African American. And that has been my goal to like consistently increase that, right? So back then it probably was even less. So I can only imagine how you felt in that program.
Yes.
So how did it feel? Like how important is it to have that connection while in school?
Very important.
Yeah.
That one-on-one connection, somebody to talk to, so you don't feel alone. And even though my colleagues of European persuasion, and for those who don't know what I'm referring to, my white friends, I do have white friends, my white friends, my white family members, my Hispanic family members, that everybody, it was just a different. And so, for instance, the ideal was that how can we relate to each other when we do the nod? Like, what is that? What does that mean? You know, to be able to talk over a table, or to be able to get together and say, is it just me? Is it, you know, am I alone in this? As I mentioned earlier. So that friendship, we stayed together. Unfortunately, Debbie Birch, she died, cancer. And
I'm so sorry to hear that.
yeah. Our birthdays were like 5 days apart in June, so we always celebrated together. So we do a little, you know, libation on her behalf because her family's still there and she represented well. But even though that connection is not direct, we still remember. We still honor her. And then the support organization, they also honor and everybody, and the ideal of the connection grew. It grew so that if I needed to talk to somebody in Texas, if I needed to talk to somebody in Washington, somebody, or have a connection, or connect you with somebody over here, then I would contact the American Academy of Physical Therapy. The American Academy of Physical Therapy was started in September of 1989. I was one of the founders. There was about 80 of us strong about that point. And we formed here in Chicago. And now all the local connections had a national organization. So we mentor. We basically do on a global level what we couldn't do on a local level where we can connect with different people, but also
Yeah.
do the scholarships, do the mentoring, do the education. Now, some people, like one of my bosses, my managers at the University of Chicago, she said, why do you, and she European, and this, the reason I mentioned race, because race is a real thing.
It is.
And she even said she was colorblind. I said, yeah, you must be blind, but the rest of the folks, they see color. They see black, they see white. So let me tell you how it is.
Yeah.
Her and I would have these debates and arguments. We would walk to work together, and she would fight. She said, why are you taking away from APTA? Now, APTA, the American Physical Therapy Association, they basically take charge of licensing us and policies, and they do all the logistics. But their membership at the time that I was thinking was $900 for, the national organization, and then, you've added in the local organization dues. Meanwhile, back in those days, AAPT, the American Academy of Physical Therapy, it was 150. It's like 250 now for annual membership. And then for some, it was like $20. I said, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, because when we went to APTA, the American Physical Therapy Association, even though they had the minority of physical therapists, and Jeanette Meadows, who headed that for years, she was awesome in reaching out and being a liaison, an advocate between AAPT and APTA. And I hope I'm not confusing y'all, but basically, we weren't confused. APTA was all about policy and logistics. They weren't trying to better the race. It was 1% representation back in the 1970s and the 1980s and even the 1990s. What's wrong with this picture? And so they weren't trying to extend and do things for minorities. They were just, it was surface. We had to form something separate, something to help us, because you're right, the personal connections, we needed them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just my imagination, it was for real. They weren't trying to help with scholarships and mentorings. And for instance, when I talked to the manager of my program, I said, why am I the only one here? There's 40 physical therapists. This is a community that caters most to the urban population. When I say urban, I'm talking about minorities.
Yeah.
Now, my European counterparts were awesome physical therapists. Some of them were awesome thanks to a little bit because of my mentoring them and watching out for them and helping them to understand. But sometimes they were not having that same connection
With the patients.
with the patient. And some people say, did you specialize, Linda? No, I'm a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
But at the same time, some people said I was a specialist in gerontology, neurology, as well as bariatric care. So that meant I had a special connection. I could speak and on their vibe and relate to what they were going to, because my mom was poor. We were poor. We understood. And not to say that black folks are all poor, but white folks are poor too. But there was a different connection. And so that's why I appreciate being able to say to them that we can help. And when I went back to my counterpart, I said, I have to put my money where my mouth is. The American Physical Therapy Association is just not for me. $900 can go to a better cause, which would be the American Academy of Physical Therapy. I will put that money into the scholarship to help people like yourself, to help people, because I think the reason why it's not as great as it was before, remember, my mom had to take a second mortgage out on her home to afford for me to go to physical therapy school. You know what it's like to be a doctorate? How much did it cost you? Or how much was the program for you? Financially, who can afford it?
Yeah.
So that's why it's still, even went from 1% to 4%, like you said. Who can afford it?
Yeah. It's still not enough. That's still not enough.
So what do you think? Why do you think the minority representation is low in the physical therapy field?
I feel like it's a big issue, and I feel like it is the lack of representation. So like how you just mentioned, like you went into work and you were one of 40 staff, going into those positions and not seeing anyone that looks like you is hard, right? Children can't aspire to be a physical therapist if they haven't seen a physical therapist that looks like them. Like that's very, very important. I also think just representation and education on a standpoint of what physical therapy is and what we do, but us being the face of that, because I feel like a lot of times people get into physical therapy or they know about physical therapy like when they have an injury. But there's so much more to physical therapy than just having an injury. Like you said, there's geriatrics, there's neurology, there's women's health, there's sports, there's oncology, there's all these different avenues of physical therapy, but so many people don't know about them. So it's like, how can you aspire to be something where you don't know about it, and one, you haven't seen it? So I think that's the first issue, is representation is just low. It's getting better, yes. Since your time, yes, getting better, but we still have a lot to do. I also feel like the requirements to get into school, specifically like standardized tests that have been shown to have cultural bias, I feel like that is also a barrier. Personally for me, the GRE, I had to take that like 3 times, and I still didn't even get the score that I needed to get, which is why I went to get my master's, so that they can bypass my GRE score. So I think standardized tests is also a barrier. Money is also a barrier. I emptied out my whole savings to apply to PT school, and it took me 3 cycles before I got in, and each time I applied to 4 or more schools. Each application is about $150 with supplement applications that could range. It can get up there. It can add up. So I think, to your point, like how you said, like your mom had to take out a mortgage in order for you to go to school. I have always invested in myself, and I always felt like it was going to always pay off for me. But it was also very hard at that time, right? Like, I had just graduated from undergrad, and I'm working like a minimum wage job. So it's like I'm living with my parents. So money is also a very huge thing. And then now that they've changed all these rules with the amount of loans that you can take out, if I was in school during this time frame, there would no way I wouldn't be sitting here as a doctor of physical therapy, because I wouldn't have been able to afford school. My doctorate degree alone cost $100K. And like now the whole conversation is, or what has happened is, they don't consider physical therapy to be a professional degree, which is insane to me that is even a thing. But to your point, it's just like, I think all those barriers play a role, right? Which is why I feel like I've been a little bit more vocal in that aspect, so that people can say like, oh, okay, I've heard of Bria, or I've seen Bria, or I've heard of Dismiss the Doctor, I've heard of the dedicated PT, I've heard of these things, and I think that just goes with us creating the space and the change. And even for you, like creating AAPT, like that is an amazing accomplishment. And I also just want to say thank you, because I am also a part of it, and I am only a part of the organization because you sponsored me. So doing things like that was just such a blessing, because during that time, like I did not have the money to like kind of afford the membership at the time, because I was in school. And so I am just so blessed and honored that you were able to sponsor me to be a part of such an amazing organization. So thank you. Please don't make me cry. But this is why mentorship and things like this are just so important. And I just feel like, when you were in school and you had your mentor that kind of laid the foundation, and it's just like, she doesn't know how impactful her being was to you. And I say to you, you don't know how impactful your being and just like your presence is to me. And I also wanted to say this earlier. So Linda Tutal and I know each other through a mutual friend, and the mutual friend connected us, and you became a mentor. And, we've had phone conversations. You kind of have guided me throughout my journey into PT school. And then I got an internship at the University of Chicago doing one of my clinicals. And that was only because of you. I was supposed to do my clinicals my final year. I was supposed to do a clinical. I forgot where I was supposed to go. But like at the last minute, I called Linda up and I was like, Linda, I'm trying to get a clinical here at the University of Chicago. My school is saying it's impossible. It's too late. And when I tell you she came through for me, she came through for me. Like I did my last clinical at the University of Chicago, and I'm just so blessed and honored because it was such an amazing experience. And just to following your example is just such a blessing. And I feel like maybe if I haven't told you this, I'm just so grateful for that. Because it was during a time where I was like really trying to like advocate for myself, right? Like the school had already set up something for me and basically was telling me that I'm going to this clinical. And I was scared to say something about it, but I knew that having the internship at University of Chicago, I knew that that was going to make a difference in my life and impact my life, and especially because it's on the south side of Chicago, you know? So it means more to me. So I just want to say thank you so much for creating that opportunity for me, for sponsoring me into the organization. Like that is just, it's such a blessing. So I just want to say thank
welcome.
you.
You are now paying it forward.
Yeah.
Blessing people. And can I read something
Yes, yes.
to you? The Obama Presidential Center. Oh, let me tell you about my manager, the one who used to argue with me to say there's no need to separate and do this with the organization. I said, yes, there is, because they don't represent. She winded up, even though it was traumatic talking to her,
Yeah.
she winded up nominating me for an award. Now, I'm going to pat my own self on the back.
Yes.
It was called the Martin Luther King Humanitarian Award. It's offered at the University of Chicago. It's given annually. It's a big to-do. You get money. I gave it to my church. Had my family there. But her name was Diane Davis. So Diane Davis, who I thought was my nemesis, she winded up being my biggest supporter. And from that scholarship, I wound up being strong enough to say, you know what? It's the struggle is real.
Yeah.
But even those who think that they know what's good for us, she listened.
Yeah.
She supported my dream to come a reality through you and young people like you. And so, for instance, I was like, it's like one person at a time. Knowledge is power. So before I left the University of Chicago, I said, we need to increase more minority representation here. And they would come in spurts, back and forth, you know, and Hispanics, beautiful. I love our I'm sorry.
The LGBT.
Thank you. I'm saying HB
community.
because I'm thinking that's another thing that
Yeah.
I did, support it. But LGBT population, beautiful. Asian, beautiful. Increased minority participation. There was no longer the typical white male, per se, that was in charge. These were the people who represented and took care of the population.
Yeah.
The reason I said that is because before I left, it was thanks to you. I connected with the young people, and when I say young and old, I said, I may not be out there teaching, but I'm teaching my patients, their caregivers, their family members. I'm teaching young people like yourself kind of trying to get into profession, how to get into profession. But you're right, the money did make a difference. And so to be able to sponsor and say, okay, Bree, if you do this and you do this and do this. But to be honest with you, I was thinking, well, do I really have that impact? Because I'm not high in tech and I'm not good with, what did you call it? Social media. I'm not, I'm not cool like that. Is it cool to say cool? Is it cool to, so I was like, okay. So I had to find a way to still share my spiritual blessing. I feel blessed that I'm actually getting paid to do what I was blessed to be able to do from God.
Yeah.
And for those who are not into God or into those, vibes and feelings, spiritual, whatever you believe in, the ideal is that there is something higher and more powerful. And so the Obama Presidential Center, or guess how I met Obama? He was the senator at the time who presented me Miss Linda Too Tall Spears. He didn't say too tall, but Miss Spears. Here's your Martin Luther King Humanitarian Award.
He presented you your award?
He presented me the award.
Oh, wow.
I took a picture next to him. He's tall, I'm tall, so I took the picture next to him. We had two other recipients. That was a unique year. But I wanted to stand next to the president of the hospital and the CEO because, we conversation, we talking.
Yeah.
But Obama standing next to me, I said, oh, okay, who's this guy? His wife, she was working as VP, or Michelle. I knew her, she tall too, so I see her in the hallway. We do not, keep on stepping, but we represent, And then years later, when he became president of the United States, I'm like, where is that picture? So they don't know it yet, but I'm going to be a tour guide for them.
Oh, wow.
They don't know it yet.
They don't know it yet.
Because I've applied for a couple jobs, but they don't know it yet.
We're speaking it already.
Yeah, we're speaking it.
Yes,
we're claiming it.
We're claiming it.
That's, our spiritual gift here. So Miss Michelle Obama, they wrote this book, this little book of hope.
Okay.
So no matter what is going on in the geopolitical, situation, global climate, whatever's going on in your life, my life, everybody's life out there personally, I say the same thing that's been said to us from Reverend Jesse Jackson, may he rest in peace. Keep hope alive. And so in this excerpt of her book, Hope, the little book of hope, the past is a source of knowledge and the future is a source of hope. Love of the past implies faith in the future, from Stephen Ambrose. And my final quote from Maya Angelou, you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. And can I get an amen?
Amen. Oh my God, I can't even believe you just read that. That is like my favorite quote, and it has guided me just through life in general. She is an amazing poet. And Still I Rise, I actually have it tattooed on my arm. That's like my favorite poem by her. So that I didn't know she was gonna read this. That was just really, really beautiful, and it's just so ironic that was the quote that you chose to read. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Ain't
That
God
was
good?
Yes. I'm like, how?
God does work in mysterious ways.
I didn't know you were gonna read that.
Oh my
That is so
God.
crazy
And I
and
think
just so
about
beautiful.
The trials and tribulations we've been through.
Yeah.
And I said, before I leave, because I had to leave, and thank goodness my boss, Marla Robinson, was awesome. She knew at age 65, she didn't know the age thing, but she like, Linda, it's hard for you to move. Are you having problems?
Yeah.
I said, but I'm not leaving here until my dreams come true. And you were one of those dreams.
Yeah.
I shared that with you. I said, look, we need some HBCUs up in here, some historical black college and universities. And why is it we don't have contracts with these schools? And then some of my counterparts, they were saying, well, we got so many contracts and we're not sure they're going to come and want to work here. I'm like, really? Let's try and see. Because we have people from all over the country that we've mentored as students coming through here. And that's one of the requirements of physical therapy schools, do a clinical affiliation like you did. And so it worked out because before we left, we have contracts. We have minorities working there and that look like me. And we're keeping hope alive.
Yeah.
So thank you.
No,
for getting the
thank
word
you.
out.
I just want to say thank you for all the hard work that you're putting in and all of the effort that you're putting in, especially coming from the standpoint of now you're retired. So now you're still putting in this work. You're still, serving the community. So I just want to say thank you so much for that. And for the opportunity for me to even do my clinical at the University of Chicago was just such a blessing to me. And you don't know. Like, it was just such an amazing opportunity for me. I learned so much. But like you said, it's like we are evoking the change, and that we just have to continue to pay it forward. So I just want to say thank you for like all the hard work that you have done, because it is contagious. It's coming to me. I'm trying to, I'm just trying to continue to follow in this path so that we continue to make a difference. And you have made such a difference in this profession throughout your years. So I just want to commend you for that. But as we wrap up, I would love to hear your if anyone is interested in reaching out to you and would love for you to be their mentor, what would you share with them? It could be an email. I know we don't do socials.
Before y'all came on, I'm like, what's the social? What's that? Even though I'm old school, I love being old fashioned. I love old school. But you can reach me. I don't do Link. I don't do Facebook. I don't do any of those. But you can reach me old school style. I'll say it, then I'll spell it. And you can even call me. Now, I may not pick up, especially on Sunday. I do church, sabbatical. I'm trying to disconnect from social media. But my email is lindacSpears@comcast.net. LINDA. C as in Cynthia, Spears like the spear you should not be throwing, SPEARS, at Comcast.net, or 773 791-0616. Again, 773-791-0616. And leave a long, detailed voice message. I'm a talker,
Yeah.
so please let me know. I'm not involved directly, but I can connect you. And to be honest with you, I still need to work on being better connected myself because I've dropped off the radar when I became so focused on my own health and health concerns in my family. So I can still do better. And so I'll help other people, but I know I need to still do better. So thank you for helping me with that.
Yes, of course. And I'll be sure to link it in the bio in case
thank
anyone
you.
didn't catch it.
Thank you.
To make it easier. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today in
Thank
this
you.
episode. It was just such a blessing to have you here.
God
And I'm
bless
just so appreciative of your time and all your wisdom.
Well, thank you. And God bless your ministry.
Yes, yes. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode of Dismissed to Doctor. I'll be sure to include all of the email and phone number in the description so that you all can reach out to Linda Tutal if you all have any questions. And then until next time, thank you so much for joining me today. Bye.